My name is Stephen Hanson, Hanson, and I'm the Chief Investigator for the District 9 Medical Examiner's Office.
Mr. Hanson, how long have you worked for the Medical Examiner's Office?
Here, almost 7 years.
Right. And who is the Medical Examiner for the District 9?
The Chief Medical Examiner is Dr. Jan Garavaglia.
Prior to working with the Medical Examiner in District 9, where have you worked before that?
For about 18 months prior to coming here, I was a crime scene manager for the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. For 11 years prior to that, I was the Chief Investigator for the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office in San Antonio, Texas.
Now, what are the responsibilities that you have in your present position?
As the Chief Investigator, I supervise and do the scheduling for all of the investigators assigned, but I also go ahead and work cases myself.
Is one of your responsibilities the collection of human remains for later examination by the forensic pathologists that work for the District 9 Medical Examiner's Office?
Yes, it is.
On or about, or on the 11th day of December of 2008, did you receive notification of the location of what were believed to be human remains in an area in Orange County, Florida?
Yes, I did.
Approximately what time did you receive that
It
notification?
was around 11 o'clock in the morning.
And, pardon me, did you then travel to a location in one of your medical examiner's vehicles?
I traveled to Suburban Drive in Orlando.
And when you arrived there, did you take photographs of the scene in general and various items of evidence that were collected?
As part of my entire investigation of the area, yes, I did.
Let me, if I may have the witness shown, State's Exhibit for Identification BV. Do you recognize State's Exhibit BV?
Yes, I do.
And what does it show?
This is, it looks like it's the south side of Suburban Drive in Orlando.
Would this have been a photograph you took when you first arrived before actually entering
Yes, it is.
the scene? Does it fairly and accurately depict the scene as it was when you arrived?
Indeed.
When you arrived, was it raining?
Yes, it was.
At this time, you ought to move to evidence State's Exhibit B for identification.
What says the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
You received an evidence that states number.
And may I publish?
You may publish.
I just describe sort of what we're looking at as we look at this photograph.
When I do a scene investigation, I take photographs of the area surrounding the scene specifically, and this is the road, Suburban Drive, and specifically a portion of the area that was in question. Further inside the woods is where the actual scene was at the time.
All right. If I could have States BW. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes, I do.
This is a photograph that you took on the date we've been discussing.
Indeed.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the scene as you saw it?
Yes, it does.
This time, State would move to evidence State's Exhibit BW.
Well, no objection, Your Honor.
You received an evidence that states number.
May I publish?
You may publish.
All right. Tell us what we're looking at in this photograph.
This is the south side of Suburban Drive, and as you can see up towards the center top, it looks like there's a little bit of an opening in the growth, and that would be kind of the path that led into where the remains were found.
The monitor you have in front of you is a telestrator. If you'll touch the screen, you can make a line or circle,
okay.
kind of circle the entrance
Okay.
as you
This is
recall.
kind of the,
That area right there. Thank you. May have State's Exhibit BX. Do you recognize this photograph?
yes, I do.
And does it fairly and accurately depict the scene as you found it
Yes.
as moving further into the
Yes,
woods?
it does.
This time you're going to move into evidence State's Exhibit BX.
You received an evidence that states number.
May I publish?
You may publish.
All right. Take us through again what this is showing us about your path as it continued
Again.
into the woods.
During the course of a scene investigation, you take various photographs and you go from a larger area into a smaller area. And this is a photograph in that series moving into the area where the remains were found.
There's an item that appears in the photograph here. Was that a advertising sign for something? Do you recall?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, sir.
Was that an advertising sign for something? If you
There was
recall.
an advertising sign that was there. I'm not exactly sure if that was it. It's a little far off. It could well have been.
All right. If I could have the next photograph be Y. And again, is this another photograph a little bit farther down the path?
Yes, it is. And in this one, you can see, I think the item that you were referring to over here, and that was some sort of plastic advertisement that has the little metal stands on it that
Sure.
you stick into the ground.
And does this fairly accurately depict the scene?
Yes, it does.
State will move to evidence, State's Exhibit BY.
No objection.
Be received in evidence as states numbered,
Request to publish?
published.
All right, so just, you've circled an item, that's the little sign going in. Kind of give us a line as to how you would have to continue on this path to get to the area of concern.
Oh, not very good at that. Kind
just-
of like that.
Slightly curving to the right.
Exactly.
Could I have State's Exhibit BZ? You recognize that? Is it a fair and accurate photograph of the continuation of the path?
Yes, I do.
State will move to evidence, State's Exhibit BZ.
No objection, Your Honor.
Be received in evidence as states numbered.
May I publish?
You may publish.
All right. Again, if you just show us sort of where is the continued path to the area that we're most interested in. Very good. Could I have State's Exhibit CA, please? You recognize State's Exhibit CA.
Yes, it's further into the area in question.
And again, does this fairly and accurately depict the scene as you found it?
It is.
State, this time, Your Honor, State would move into evidence, State's Exhibit CA.
No objection, Your Honor.
Be received in evidence as states numbered.
May I publish?
You may publish.
Now, in this photograph, do we see the first hint of the area that we're going to be talking about?
Yes, we do.
Could you just circle it so we get that perspective from this photograph? And would that item be a fallen log?
Yes, it is.
And the area of concern is just after that.
That's correct.
Could I have State's Exhibit CB? Can you recognize that photograph?
Yes, I do.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the scene?
Yes, it does.
State would move into evidence, State's Exhibit CB.
No objection, Your Honor.
Be received in evidence as states numbered.
May I publish?
You may publish.
All right, again, this is getting us a little bit farther in. Can you, for orientation, just put a line around the area of concern as we're now approaching it?
It's right around there.
Now, was this photograph, do you recall, taken with flash?
Yes, it was.
Right. Now, obviously, this photograph is assisted with flash. Does it fairly and accurately depict the difficulty in seeing items in that area, or is it better because of the flash?
The entire area was heavily overgrown, as you can see. It was dark and raining. The flash didn't really help that much. It was a good camera. Having looked back on it, I think some of the pictures were better than what I was able to see at the scene with my glasses getting water drops on them.
Okay. Again, because it was still raining the whole time you were there.
Indeed, yes, and cold.
Your Honor, this might be a good time for us to take our lunch break before we get into anything more.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the time is now 1 minute before the hour of noon. I'm going to ask that you not discuss this case among yourselves, and please remember all of my other previous admonitions. We will be in recess until 1:30. Any additional instructions on behalf of the state
No, sir.
or the defense? Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Did you heed all of my previous admonition during the noon recess? All right. State and the defense both recognize the presence of the jury.
Yes, sir.
You may continue, Mr. Ashton.
Mr. Hanson, I believe where we left off before lunch, you were making your way back to the area of interest. When you arrived at the area where the remains were, can you kind of describe the area? In other words, in terms of its vegetation, things of that sort.
Yes, sir. It was heavily overgrown and undergrown with there was a rotten log, there was a lot of vines, there was a lot of undergrowth. It took me, even when I got to the area and Detective Mellish tried to point out the things that were pertinent, it took me a while to orient it, to pick them up. The photos that you showed going in were photos of the area, but I hadn't noticed until we got in there and looking. So it was very difficult to see. Once you picked it up, then it was much easier. But initially, it was very difficult to discern.
What, did someone have to point it out to you, the skull, to say, there it
Yes,
is?
sir. Yes, sir.
If I may show the witness state's exhibit CH for identification. Let me just make sure, yes. Can you see that photograph?
Yes, I can.
Was this one of the initial photographs you took upon being shown where the remains were, but before major clearing had occurred?
No, it isn't. This is one that was after some clearing had been done,
All right.
taken from the opposites. I take that back. Some of the area had been cleared a little bit, but this was maybe the second or third photograph that was taken.
So within the process of clearing a bit?
Indeed.
All right. And does it fairly accurately depict what it shows?
Yes, it is.
This time, Your Honor, moving definite states exhibit CH.
No objection.
Be received in evidence that states number.
207.
May I publish?
You may publish.
All right. Now, from what perspective is this photograph taken, Mr. Hanson?
I'm standing, if you look at the lower portion of the photograph, there's what looks to be a rotten log. I'm on the other side of that, and we're looking across. I'm not 100% sure what the direction was. The orientation was a little tough in there. But we were looking across so that what looked like to be the skull was on the left-hand side, and then the plastic bags and some of the other things were over on the right.
I'm going to put a little line here. This is the log you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Where I've just
Indeed.
made a line. All right. And are you essentially directly above the skull or approximately?
Just a little bit behind it, but very close.
Right. Can you see in this photograph was there duct tape on or near the skull?
I'm not sure that I was able to appreciate the duct tape right at that point. These were, again, a series of photographs that we take as we go in so that we have orientation and background. So I was more interested in making sure that I got everything in there than doing a close examination of the scene itself.
Now, after that, this photograph, of course, you did have a chance to examine it more thoroughly and
Yes, sir.
identify. Okay. Was there duct tape on or near the skull?
It appeared to be duct tape from what I could see, yes.
Can you point out on this photograph where that is?
I would think that it's kind of right around in this area.
So this bit of gray we see just above the skull in the photograph?
Actually, it's not above the skull, it's in front of
meant
the skull.
In the photograph.
Oh, yes, sir.
The upper part
Right.
of the photograph. I don't
Indeed, yes.
on top of it. Okay. And all right, let's go on. Excuse me. Now, once this photograph was taken, did you, with the assistance of the crime scene investigators, clear all of the vegetation above the skull and the other items associated with it?
Not right away. Additional photographs were taken, but at some point then, we went ahead and started to clear it out so that we could see it better.
How long were you actually at the scene between arrival and when you left with the remains?
I'd have to say it was 3 or 4 hours.
So we're condensing 3 or 4 hours into
Yes, we
a
are.
short period of time. All right. May I have State's Exhibit CI? All right. Can you see State's Exhibit CI?
Yes.
Is that a photograph of the scene with the vines cleared away to appreciate everything on the ground and its relation to each other?
The vines are cleared away, and you can see that the log that was down there has been removed.
And does it fairly accurately depict the scene with those alterations you've discussed?
Yes, sir, it does.
At this time, Your Honor, moving to evidence State's Exhibit CI.
No objection, Your Honor.
We received an evidence that states numbered.
May I publish?
You may publish.
Now, I believe you indicated before we published this, you put a blue line at the bottom. Is that approximately where the log was?
Yes, sir.
But the log had been removed.
Yes, it was moved over to this side.
And again, you indicated that some vines had been removed.
Yes, sir.
Was anything cleared at this point from ground level, or was it all the stuff above?
No,
that
it was just things that were above it that were hindering our ability to visualize what was down there.
So with respect to the things that are on the ground, is everything in the same position it was when you got there?
Yes, sir.
If we could move on to State's Exhibit CJ. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes, I do.
And what is, let me clear that annotation. What is this a photograph of?
This is a close-up of the skull.
Now, is this taken after the vines have been cleared away, the log has been removed,
Yes, sir.
but has any of the ground material been disturbed in any way?
Not at all. It was just a close-up of the area after it had been cleared up a little bit, but nothing had been moved.
At this time, Your Honor, moving to, then does it fairly accurately depict the scene at that
Yes,
point?
it does.
This time, Your Honor, moving to evidence, State's Exhibit C.
No objection, Your Honor.
It will be received in evidence that states numbered.
May I publish?
You may publish.
Now, tell me, if you will, sort of describe the angle at which you took this photograph or what you were attempting to do.
This photograph was taken from the opposite side of where the other ones were. We moved from, for discussion's sake, the one side where the log was, we moved outside of the area and came into it from another point so that we could visualize the other side without having to step over anything or disturb anything. So now this photograph was taken from the other side, the other perspective, where you couldn't see the front of the skull from that other vantage point. We moved so that you could visualize the skull without having to move anything.
Now, at what height is the camera when this is taken? I mean, did you,
It probably wasn't 2.5 feet off the ground.
and how did you accomplish that?
By the camera we have is a digital camera, and it has a screen in the back that you can flip out and rotate so that you don't have to stay behind the camera as you're watching it the whole time. So we were able to, or I was able to go ahead and bring that camera down and rotate the screen up so that I could still see what the camera was seeing without having to get down onto the ground at the same level. So that's how that was accomplished.
So you're actually standing up, but you're holding the camera.
Well, I
Low.
was bending down, but I was not, my face was not behind the camera because of the arrangement of the screen on the back of the camera.
Now, in this photograph, can you see the duct tape?
Yes, sir.
Now, from your observation of it, at this point, could you determine whether it appeared to be more than one piece of duct tape?
No, not at that point.
Could you circle the duct tape for us? Now, obviously, this is a two-dimensional photograph, but the tape itself, as it was sitting there, was it flat on the ground? Was it perpendicular? Was it at an angle? Could you give us that additional dimension to this photograph.
It was difficult to tell because of the hair mat and the undergrowth, the plant material that was there. To the best of my knowledge, the people that were processing the scene, including myself, had not moved anything. So that is exactly how we saw it, and we hadn't moved anything. So it was difficult to tell exactly where it was.
All right. So there was a great deal of leaf debris sort of around it.
Still.
Right. Now, we see in the photograph a portion of the duct tape. Is there a portion of the duct tape that is under the leaf debris?
We didn't know that at the time.
Okay.
But subsequently, upon moving, when you do these, you photograph everything as you find it.
Sure.
You want to record it exactly as it was found. And after you've done that, then you're in a position where you can go ahead and start to make some changes. But you want to always be able to photograph something exactly how it was found. And then, as we're doing now, then we explain that. And then, so any subsequent photographs, we can say that we had to clear some of that undergrowth and what have you away so we could see.
Now, you mentioned a hair mat. Can you show the jury in this photograph the hair mat you're talking about?
Let
me clear the tape annotation, first of all.
Okay.
So you can make a new one if you like.
Okay. It appeared, and it's what it appeared at the scene and was subsequently learned to be true, that this area here and around here and some back here was probably hair.
And did it appear that way to you at the time?
It did.
Did it appear also that the matter on top of the skull here, sort of these strands appeared to be hair also?
Correct.
Let me go on to State's Exhibit CK, I believe is the next one. And do you see State's Exhibit CK?
Yes, I do.
And does that fairly and accurately depict the relationship of the skull, the tape, and the bags that appear in the photograph?
Yes, it does.
This time, Your Honor, moving to State's Exhibit CK.
What says the defense? Be received in evidence the states numbered.
May I publish?
You may publish.
Now, these particular items we see in the photograph, let me just ask you, when you, as the crime scene investigator for the medical examiner's office, do you have a responsibility that's slightly different than responsibility of the crime scene investigators for the police agency?
Yes, sir. We investigate death scenes, and we are responsible for providing the information to the medical examiner regarding the way the scene looks and how it is related to the remains. The majority of times it's a full set of remains, occasionally decomposed, or in this case, skeletonized. So we need to go ahead and try and put into perspective those things that we believe are pertinent to understanding the scene and the circumstances. So we focus more on the scene itself as it relates with the remains than a lot of the broad photographs that the regular crime scene folks would take.
In terms of custody of the remains and items related to the remains, what is the protocol for that?
Okay. The Florida statute gives the medical examiner's office the authority over the remains. We work hand in hand with law enforcement. They own and control the crime scene, but we have the remains. In this particular case, one of the things that we were thinking was that there were probably remains in the bag. And we were, I'll be honest, hoping that most of the remains were in that bag because it would have made it a much simpler case rather than having to go search all over a field or, in this case, a wooded area. So we considered this potentially these bags having contained additional remains. So we looked at that as part of our jurisdiction.
So you would have, in effect, been in custody, if you will, or control over not just the
Right.
skull, but the bags as well.
After discussion with law enforcement, they agreed that that's probably the way it should be handled in this particular case.
Now, let's move on to State's Exhibit CL, please. Do you recognize State's Exhibit CL?
Yes, sir.
Is this an additional photograph of the skull showing the duct tape and its relationship to the bag,
Yes, sir, it is. The one plastic bag.
the one plastic bag? And does it fairly and accurately depict the scene as you saw it?
Yes, it does.
At this time, you ought to move to State's Exhibit CL.
It will be received in evidence. It states numbered.
And publish.
You may publish.
Now, this photograph, I want to discuss with you a little bit about the skull, its position. Was the skull, portions of the skull, beneath the level of the leaf litter or ground around it?
I'm not sure about dirt, but I can tell you that it seemed to be embedded in the vines. You can see there are vines and leaves and other ground debris, and it seemed to be embedded in that debris.
Now, it appears from the photograph that at least the front, the debris was up to about the mid-eye socket level. Is that
It does, yes.
how it was actually? Does this photo
This is an accurate representation of what we saw.
And then if you can kind of demonstrate for if you can, sort of where the debris line would have been around the skull, and you can feel free to use your own skull
Well,
as an
I
example.
can kind of do my own skull, or I can draw the line. It's kind of right
Well,
where
show me on your skull so
Okay,
we can
well,
see what.
it's kind of like right about there without the glasses, okay? Just below, or just a little bit below, or touching a little bit above the eye socket.
Okay, so from the eye sockets, and did it go around the head,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
the
kinda give me
debris,
that,
yeah,
the circumference.
Yeah, the entire,
Wait. Both of you cannot talk at the same time.
apologize, Madam Court Reporter. If you could just give me a demonstration of the total circumference, that'd be helpful.
it was circumferential around the skull.
Was the skull sitting essentially in its, let me rephrase, when we say anatomical position, we mean as if someone were standing straight up. All right, so from that purpose, was the skull completely straight up, or was it a slight angle one way or the other?
I believe it was angled. It was not straight up.
Angled so the back was low, or do you recall?
It was very difficult to tell because of the orientation of the ground around it.
Fair enough. Now, did you come up with a method of trying to remove the skull and the tape together as a group?
Yeah, we the crime scene people, Welsh, Investigator Welsh, and the supervisor, Susan Mears, were out there, and we talked about it. And my suggestion was that we go ahead and I would remove as large an area from the side and under the skull and lift it up and place it into a paper bag. At this point in time, we were most interested in recovering everything that was there without making any substantial changes in its orientation, because we realized that the duct tape and the hair mat were important exactly the way they were. And we weren't exactly sure what else was in that area of vegetation and debris around it. So I reached, or we decided the best way to do it would be to try and collect a large portion of that area, just not lift the skull up. So we planned to go ahead and lift an area to include the skull and the debris, and then put it into a paper bag for transport.
Let me show you State's Exhibit GK. And I believe this is in evidence as State's Exhibit 199 for the record. Let me clear the annotation. May I publish? This is in evidence as State's 199.
You may.
Thank you. Is this, though obviously you didn't take this photograph, is this a photograph taken of you attempting, in the middle of removing the skull.
That's correct.
All right.
It looks like I had already reached down and gotten the outer areas, and my hands were coming together under the skull to lift it up. One of the crime scene investigators was holding a bag open so that I could just reach over and then place this entire pile of debris and skull into the bag for security and transport.
Do you have a recollection of approximately how far out from the skull you went in terms of your initial penetration of the ground?
For about 6 to 8 inches from around the skull. The skull is here in the center. I could put my hand 6 to 8 inches out to the side and then gone down until I hit something pretty solid, and then tried to scoop it up and then lift everything that was there to deposit in a large brown paper bag.
Okay, looking at State's Exhibit 199, there appears to be a slightly darker area around here. Is that sort of where you had removed debris? Is that what that is?
It would appear to be that way, yes.
And did you attempt, as best you could, to keep the tape in the same position in reference to the skull as it was on the ground?
The hair mat and the tape both, yes.
Just so we're clear, was it possible to keep it in precisely, exactly the same position?
I seriously doubt it, but we certainly made the best effort that we possibly could.
And when you said that was collected and was placed in a paper bag?
Correct.
And did you collect other items from the scene there that morning?
Yes, we did.
What other items were collected from the scene that morning?
We collected the plastic bag and the canvas bag that was next to it because we felt that may have had additional remains in it. And there were also some other long bones that were in the area of the skull, in the proximity, which would again be part of our responsibility as the medical examiner's office. So while they weren't part of the large area that we collected with the skull or from the bags, they were also collected and placed in a bag for transport back to the medical examiner's office.
So you said the bag you're talking about the trash bag or the canvas bag or both?
The trash bag and the canvas bag were collected again as one unit so that we could get everything that was in that area. Again, same thing, going down from the outside of it around and scooping it up and then putting it onto a plastic shroud and then putting that into a body bag.
And was that taken then as a large?
As a unit.
As a unit. Did you also collect some items of possible clothing, I think a pair of shorts?
There was,
there.
I didn't know at the time that they were shorts, but there were some items of cloth that may have been clothing, but those were also collected because we considered as a part of that scene.
Was there anything else you took from the scene that first morning? You said the skull, the bag, the shorts, the long bone, anything else?
That's pretty much it. There was something besides the shorts. There was a large piece of cloth. Later learned to be, it was some sort of a blanket, I think. But those things that were of that ilk that were with each other, they were all picked up and transported back.
To the medical examiner's office?
Indeed, yes.
And when you arrived at the medical examiner's office, did you turn all that material over to one of the forensic pathologists at the medical
Yes, I
examiner's
did.
office?
Yes, I did.
Who was that?
That was Dr. Gary Utz, the Deputy Chief Medical Examiner.
Over the next number of days, did you continue to transport evidence or remains from that scene on Suburban to the medical examiner's office?
One of my roles was to go ahead and go back and forth between the scene, confer with Dr. Schultz, with the crime scene people so that we kind of knew what was going on. And as they were collecting things that they believed to be bones or part of that scene that were possibly human remains, okay, those would be collected and cataloged by the crime scene people, and that included the people from the sheriff's office and the other agencies that were assisting, but under the supervision of the sheriff's office. They would collect those things, and then I would sign for them out there on most occasions, transport them back to the medical examiner's office for security and examination by the medical examiners that were working on the case. There were one or two instances where one of the crime scene people may have transported it from the scene and into our office, but for the most part, I was the one that was going back and forth, bringing the things that had been collected during the extensive search that they did of the area back to the medical examiner's office.
And you indicated your first trip, obviously we've just talked about, was December 11th. What was the date of your last trip? And if you need to refer to your report to refresh your recollection, that's fine.
I think the 17th of December was the last time I went out there.
And was the purpose of that to collect?
Again, to do the same
Some
thing,
more bones.
to gather whatever remains or things that they thought might be remains. There were a number of things that were collected that Dr. Schultz was going to have to look at to see if in fact they were bones or if they were human bones or if they may have been some other sort of wood debris.
You mentioned a Dr. Schultz. Who is Dr. Schultz?
Dr. John Schultz is an anthropologist. He is our primary anthropology consultant at the District 9 Medical Examiner's Office, and he was working with us. As a matter of fact, I called him probably before I went to the scene on the 11th, just to give him a heads up, to let him know what was going on, to see if he would be able to join us out there.
And did he show up at the scene?
Not on the 11th, but he did show up at the medical examiner's office that afternoon, and I'm not sure whether he was there when I got back or shortly thereafter, but he was there that afternoon of the 11th at the medical examiner's office.
And the area that we've been discussing where the remains were found, is that here in Orange County, Florida?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Afternoon.
Mr. Mason?
It's the only time I ever want to see you.
Yes, sir.
I saw in the photographs that you identified, and I'll tell Court and Counsel in just a second which one it was. I believe it's exhibit number 201. Did I see 201? You see that, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
May we publish this, Your Honor?
Yes.
Did that work? No. Okay. Would you tell us what that is lying there in the grass or the right of way?
Which thing?
Well,
Point out which one, because there are two things that are standing out there.
okay, you point to one and tell me what it is, 'cause I don't know how to work this machine. I
Okay.
know what I see. You tell me what you see.
Okay, this thing right over here looks like a machete that was stuck into the ground.
And beside it,
And beside it is, I don't know, I just noticed it when we were reviewing photographs later. It looks like an arrow, but I didn't pay attention or notice that. Certainly wasn't anything that I put there.
well, did you use the machete?
No,
Do you know who used the machete?
no, I don't. I didn't even notice the machete until I started looking at the pictures a lot closer.
Well, from the pictures you did look at when you were reviewing, it was clear that there had been, no pun intended, but some clearing of all of the woods there before you got there, wasn't there?
Objection, basis of knowledge,
I'm sorry?
Overruled.
Go ahead, sir.
It looks like somebody had cut a path through some of the underbrush. If you look at the center of that screen, kind of like here, it looks like somebody had cleared that a little bit, but that's how I found it, so I don't know who did it.
Did you, in your review of the photographs, look at a long series of photographs taken by Ms. Welch from CSI?
No, I just reviewed mine.
Just your own photographs?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so by the time you got there, how many law enforcement and/or CSI people had been on the scene? Do you know?
No, I don't, but there were several,
Bunch.
a lot.
And was the media there also by the time you got there?
Not at the area of the scene. They were behind the yellow tape a block or so away,
All of them down the road?
pretty much.
So you don't know how many people had preceded you in that area to clear debris and move things around?
No, I don't.
You've told us in a couple of, at least 3 times, I guess, you mentioned a log, a rotted log.
Excuse me?
A log, a rotted
Oh,
log?
yes, sir, a rotted log, yes, sir.
And was that there laying in the area of or over the remains when you got there?
It was not over the remains, it was beside the remains, and yes, it was.
And do you know who moved that log?
Yes, sir, it was me.
Okay. And after you moved it, what did you find?
After I photographed it,
And then what did you find, sir?
I found a better visualization of the remains in the bags.
Okay. Now, I want to direct your attention specifically also now to exhibit number 209 in evidence. Oh, we have to do this stuff here. I don't know how you take this off of here. How you take this off of here?
209 CJ.
Do what?
CJ.
No. I want to take this one off and put the other one on
Here, let's unpublish.
there. Okay.
That arrow up top.
Mm-hmm. You know, we used to just have pictures, you hold them up and take them up. Thank you. Then you stay right here.
No, I don't work for you.
Well, they don't mind.
All right, folks.
Thank you very much. Now give me number 209, please. Oh, there it is. And
Sir, it doesn't make any
May I
difference
publish
what
that, Your
number it
Honor?
is, I can't see anything.
you can't see?
You
No,
should
sir.
see it now.
Yes, sir.
May I publish this to the jury
You may.
if I know how? Now, y'all tell me if I push the right button.
Yeah, you pushed the right button.
Got it? Mr. Hanson, I'm seeing duct tape laying flat on the surface of the ground there.
Objection to counsel's opinion
Well, I'm
of the
going to
photograph. Your Honor, could we approach?
No,
May I ask the question, please?
finish the question.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I'm seeing that duct tape looks like it's laying flat on the ground. Is that correct?
Objection to counsel's expression of his opinion. The photograph speaks for itself.
Overruled.
What was the question?
It looks like it's lying flat on the ground. Is that correct, sir?
There is a portion of the duct tape that looks like it is laying on the ground, yes.
All right, sir. And is there also an edge of that you can see? It appears to be torn.
Yes.
And that'd be like the end of the tape.
I'm not sure whether that was the end of the tape or the fact that the duct tape itself had started to break down and the silver had come away from the fibrous reinforcement.
And that piece of duct tape, as it's lying there, sir, was it measured there at the scene?
Was it?
Measured?
No.
Were
At least
there?
it was not measured
sorry.
by, it was not measured by me.
Good enough. And when you took these photographs, were there any scales used to go with the photographs? Like a ruler put down beside it or anything?
No, sir.
I believe you told Mr. Ashton that this skull appeared to be somewhat embedded. Is that your word?
Yes.
And how deep was whatever it was embedded in, do you know?
No, I don't. There was the ground clutter, which consisted of vegetation. I don't believe that it was embedded in dirt per se. I think it was just embedded in the vegetation.
When you were asked to come there and look at this scene, do your job, did you know that did you know if anybody had moved that skull in any way before you got there?
The initial information that I received was that the person that found it may have kicked it, but that was,
Calls for hearsay. Move to strike.
So,
I have motion to strike, Judge. Thank you. And ask the jury to disregard the comment.
you done? On your watch for what you did, then you don't have any firsthand knowledge about whether somebody had moved it before.
that is correct.
And then what you do is you gather it up, and as Mr. Ashton was showing us, republishing number 199. Can we have 199 now? Do you see that, sir?
Yes, sir.
May I show it to the jury again, Your Honor?
You may.
Do you know who all those other feet belong to?
Well, 2 of them are mine. I'm not 100% sure who the other folks were. I was concentrating. Excuse me?
It'd be officials, right?
Oh, yes, there was no one that wasn't authorized there.
And so what was, or what were the reasons you had for digging down and trying to gather as much of the material around the skull as you could?
The primary reason was to make sure that, 1, I collected everything that was around it, and 2, that I didn't move anything that was important, such as the duct tape and the hair mat.
So if the duct tape were positioned flat, as we saw a moment ago with the pictures, when,
A fact not in evidence in counsel's opinion.
Sustain, rephrase the question.
if the duct tape were in the position that was revealed in the photos we saw just a few moments ago, would you agree, sir, that when you lifted it all up, the duct tape would have changed position?
It could have.
And by the way, you mentioned some names. Dr. Utz was the on-call medical examiner that caught this case originally.
I don't know if he was on call, but he was the medical examiner that stayed to receive the remains when I got back to the medical examiner's office.
And that was on the
11th?
11th of December, 2008.
Correct.
Ultimately, or a day or so later, if I read your report correctly, Dr. Garavaglia came in. Is that correct?
Came in as,
To the process.
yes.
And she took over.
It seemed that way. That was where I was no longer involved. That was doctor stuff.
Well, now you went out there several days in a row.
Right.
You went out there repeatedly to pick up evidence that had been found by the various CSI folks, right?
I was involved with the transportation, but not the analysis.
Right. But I mean, you went out there and you got whatever they had from that day's sifting work. And searching
Sifting or searching of the area, yes,
work. Took it back to the medical examiner's office.
correct.
And somebody put it together.
Obviously. Yes.
But it wasn't you.
No, sir.
But did you observe it?
Did I observe it? There were occasions when I was in the same room when they were doing some of the work, but
Assembling, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
but I wasn't there to observe what they were doing. I was doing my job.
And what was being done with these items that you brought back from this scene was somebody was assembling the skeleton.
There were a number of things that were being done as part of a process, and obviously reconstructing it was part of it, yes.
And was that process photographed?
Not by me.
Maybe two.
I'm here for you.
The log that you raised your hand, you said you moved it.
Yes, sir.
Did you photograph the whole thing before you moved it?
No.
Anybody photograph you moving it?
I
That
don't
you know of?
I couldn't while I was moving it, so I don't know if they were.
Okay, so what did you do with it?
Pushed it off to the left side in an area that we didn't believe would interfere with anything.
Completely away from the evidence field, or so you thought?
Yes.
All right. Mister, I have one more minute.
You may.
Have you looked at all these photographs you took?
The ones that I took?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Have you seen, you already told me you didn't see all the ones that other people took.
That's correct.
Do you have any knowledge about a whiteboard, like a possible 2x4 or 1x6 laying across that log?
No, I don't.
Never saw anything like that in your,
No,
when
I
you
didn't.
got there, while you were there?
If it had been there when I got there, I would have photographed it because it shouldn't have been moved to once I got there.
All right, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect? No, sir. Okay,